what we are going to pass is St. Paul's Cathedral, going across London Bridge, Tower Bridge, see the Tower of London. London's burning, fetch the engines, fetch the engines. Fire, fire! This is what we sing to our children. We want them to sleep in the evening. That doesn't work. Good. My favourite church service is Evensong. 5 o'clock, 3:15 on a Sunday. You would have seen the 2 white towers pertaining to Westminster Abbey, and that's where all the kings and queens of England have been crowned for the past 935 years. Many of them are buried, and also where we had the funeral to Diana, Princess of Wales, if you remember. Big Ben. It's not really the clock tower at all. It's the clock tower. It's called the clock tower. It's a 13.5-ton bell inside which chimes the hour, which is Big Ben. But for simplicity we call the whole thing the same. Have you heard that the Houses of Parliament are open to us the public at the moment for the first time in 25 years? Look at the detail in Parliament on the right there, look at it. Fabulous, isn't it? All carved out in place. Can you imagine when you're on your boats?
It is known throughout the world as Big Ben. The real name of it is the St Stephen's Clock and Tower. It gets its name Big Ben from the bell that actually rings inside the clock, as it was named after Sir Benjamin Hall, who was the manager of the works at the time the clock was built. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the bridge we're about to pass beneath, the Tower Road Bridge, not as old as many people may think. It was obviously built in this Gothic style to blend in with the Tower of London. Now, Tower Bridge was actually opened in 1894. Now, very shortly, when we turn the vessel around, we will be going beneath the middle part of the bridge. And as we do, if you look up at the roadways, or the bascles as they're called, these weigh some 1,100 tonnes each. And these can be raised in just under 1.5 minutes to allow the larger vessels in and out of the upper port of London. Now, the only time they failed to rise, and that was on the opening day back in 1894, and that was when the Royal Yacht actually hit the bridge. And if you look at the river wall very shortly in front of the Tower of London, you'll just make out the top of a bricked up archway. It has the writing above it saying "Entry to the Traitors' Gate," as this is where traitors of the Crown, after being found guilty at the Palace of Westminster, as I said to you earlier on, they'd have been rowed down river, and that is where they'd have entered into the tower, where they'd have either been imprisoned for life or taken up to Tower Hill, where they would have been beheaded. St Catherine's Dock being the oldest enclosed dock on the banks of the River Thames. The dock was mostly built by the prisoners of the Napoleonic.
Daar wordt ook de persoonlijke bijbel van koningin Victoria bewaard. Daar links zit het hele mooie gebouw opgetrokken in rode baksteen.
Look at the palace. Look at the Canadian bearskin hats on top of the soldiers' heads. They stand there without moving at all for 2 hours. Submachine guns, fixed bayonets. And look at this small Ferris wheel on the left. It doesn't stop, only when it's loading chairs, but apart from that it doesn't stop at all. It goes very, very slowly, doesn't it? You can hardly see it moving at all.